Exactly 7:24 here in New York City. We've got some quick headlines for you. First up, a new cybersecurity task force will protect the United States elections from foreign interference. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announcing the program that will also combat online terrorist recruiting and cyber attacks. The announcement came 13 days after, came after 13 Russians, that is to say, were indicted for interfering in the 2016 election. And a Republican congressman is responding to a spike in MS-13 gang violence in his district. New York Representative Lee Zeldin is proposing a bill to strip U.S. citizenship from violent gang members born outside the country. The bill would revoke the naturalization of anyone involved in gang activity 10 years before or after they become an American citizen. All right, Ainsley and Brian.
Okay, thanks, Steve. In 1999, our next guest was a sophomore at Columbine High School when two teenagers killed 12 fellow students and a teacher before killing themselves.
Today, Republican Patrick Neville is the Colorado House Minority Leader. He's proposed a bill that he says will protect students like those at Columbine and in Parkland, Florida, in the future by getting rid of gun-free zones. He joins us right now with his plan. Man, are you uniquely qualified to comment on this, Patrick? So let me ask you, what do you think that what do you think gun-free zones would have done for Florida and Columbine?
Well, the current policy of gun-free zones actually invites these kind of attacks. It's not a realistic policy, and it sends a message that our students are soft targets. So I want to end the gun-free zones and actually allow good people to defend our students.
Tell us about what you experienced back in 1999. It was April 20th, 1999, I believe. Columbine, you were a sophomore. What was that day like for you?
It was a pretty rough day. I mean, I'll never forget in the aftermath, just rallying in my elementary school, actually, and trying to find students and see who's okay. And, you know, one of the fathers that I knew growing up all throughout my elementary school came up to me and was asking me if I had seen his son, and I hadn't. And later on found out he never saw his son alive again. And then even after that, it was going back to class, and I remember in English class, and our teacher said, get with your groups. And she looked at me and noticed that I didn't have a group because one of the students was no longer living and the other one was still in the hospital.
Wow. Do you think they would have...
It was a rough time.
Do you think they would have been alive today if the teachers were allowed to carry guns?
I honestly do think that. I think that had something like this been in place on April 20th, 1999, more of my friends would be with me today.
You also point out, too, that there was an assault weapons ban at that time. ARs were banned in 1999, yet 13 people were still killed at Columbine. This guy, we know what kind of shotgun he had, kind of rifle he had. That was it. So that's one thing that stands out. Arming the schools, hardening the target. What would you like to, did you ever believe in 1999 that we'd be talking about 200 school shootings after that and 400 shot?
No, I never thought we'd still be talking about this till this day, and it's something that I thought that needed to be done for quite a while, well before I ran for office. And the moment I decided to run for office, I decided that I was going to run this piece of legislation. I
know you're a Republican Colorado House Minority Leader. What are the Democrats saying? Are they getting on board now with you after we've seen the aftermath of Florida?
No, they're not. You know, the special interest on the other side, on the anti-Second Amendment crowd, is actually much more fun. It's better funded, and it's very vitriolic. It's very hateful. I mean, the opposition that I'm getting on this bill is just, there's really no logic to it. It's just, we need to not have any guns, which is unrealistic. And the vitriolic and hateful messages I'm getting, it's pretty amazing.
Wow, so the president's going to have a listening session at the White House. He's going to listen to victims and family members of victims involved in the school shooting, especially what just happened in Parkland. What do you hope the president does from here?
Well, there's several things he can do. It's a little trickier at a federal level, but I think, you know, they have a federal ban, making gun-free zones from the federal level. There's some nuances to that we could actually, that's what my bill does. But I think looking at that, he should look at maybe getting behind repealing that. There's some other things we've done at a state level, like the Safe to Tell program we have here in Colorado. That's actually an app, and it allows students to report anything that they feel they need to report, including suicides, suicidal ideations, things of that nature. Something like that is actually shown to work in Colorado, so maybe that's something we need to get behind as well.
Patrick, as someone who's gone through this, what would you say to those survivors down in Florida that are meeting with the president today? or everyone at that school, basically?
You know, be calm. Emotions run high. I really have no great advice. I would just say as time goes on, for me, I used it as a good changing point in my life. I was really going down a dangerous path before that shooting happened, and that really kind of turned me around and made me realize that life's important. And after that, that's why reasons I joined the Army and I do what I do now. I try to make a difference. So try to find a positive in it, and really don't let your friends die in vain.
Patrick Neville, you're taking action, and you've accomplished a lot at a very young age, and now the House Minority Leader in Colorado. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you sharing your story. Hopefully you'll be involved in this dialogue, and people will be listening to you.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that the kids are taking action. March 24th, they're going to be marching. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's giving them a voice. And like he said, maybe it'll be a turning point in their life, and they can use it for something good.
Yep.
Still ahead, Michelle Malkin joins us live. That's next.
That's her.